What's up? Hello. Let's talk about food anxieties today. You know this feeling where a certain food is being placed like in front of you and you're like, "Oh my god, if I eat this thing, something bad will happen." Let's say that you are at a pastry shop and then you want to get something or you're with somebody who wants to get something and you're like, "I just can't." You almost like freeze, your heart starts like pounding like crazy and you literally think that, okay, if I eat this, something bad will happen. Either I gain 20 pounds overnight, or I get sick, or I break a rule. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like food fear, so intense fear that you can't almost be like normal around certain foods. And of course, nobody likes feeling this way, ever. Nobody likes feeling out of control, that they can't control their body, they feel like completely frozen. It's not a fun feeling. But the good thing is that we all can change that and we all can overcome this type of food anxiety. And today I want to share with you 3 tips that help you to get closer to this goal, and you can start implementing these tips today. Tip number 1 is that stop putting yourself into any diet box. Okay? Or you can also say stop putting labels on your diet, meaning that you don't have to be on a diet that's called a certain way, right? You don't have to say, "Oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting," or "I am doing vegan," or "I am doing keto." You don't have to. You don't have to do that at all. And so, because if you are on a keto diet and then you break a certain rule, like say that there's like a very carbohydrate dense food in front of you and you'll have it, then of course you're gonna feel really guilty, really bad because you just broke a rule, right? But if you don't have rules like that, there's nothing to break. If you don't have external rules like that, you have the freedom to decide what you want to eat and you don't have to label it, right? So let's say that you do want to eat 2 bananas, but if you're on a keto diet, you can't freaking have 2 bananas, right? So you just learn to eat what you want and respect that, what your body tells you. And when you understand that you don't have to follow any rules because nobody else outside of your body can tell you what to eat, then you're going to have less anxiety because you no longer have forbidden foods. My second tip for you, if you want to get rid of this food anxiety, is to eat that thing that you are afraid of. I know it sounds totally counterintuitive, but this is the way to do it. So take the first food that you can think of. Okay, maybe I could have a little bit of that. Let's say that it's chocolate. I always talk about chocolate, okay? So let's say that it's chocolate. You haven't had it in 5 years, right? You're like, "Oh my God, that would be so awesome if I could have some chocolate, but I have so much anxiety," right? But maybe I could try. And try that first piece, okay? Have that, try to relax, enjoy it, and forget about the idea that it's somehow bad. Like, really think, what could a piece of chocolate do to you? What harm could it actually cause? And you realize that nothing terrible is going to happen if you eat a piece of chocolate. Sugar is so demonized in our dieting culture here, but it does not have to be. Like, literally, what could 1 square of chocolate do to you? And let me tell you, as somebody who has a history of like 7 years of binge eating, hardcore binge eating from 2007 till about 14, I binged exactly because I was depriving myself so much. And without deprivation, there's no need to binge, and there's also no anxiety. There's no fear of what might happen if I eat chocolate, because as you experience that, as you have a few pieces here and there, you see that nothing terrible is actually happening. My third tip is actually related to the second one. So what do you do after you've had your piece of chocolate? Here's what you should not do if you want to overcome your food anxiety, and that is try and work it off or like burn it, or whatever you want to call it, when you go out and run 10 miles or like you go to the gym again because you ate something and now you feel like you have to undo the damage, okay? This should not be a thing, because then you create more anxiety around this food. You start associating that with like, I have to go and work out and it's uncomfortable and I don't like it. It feels like punishment, because it is punishment in this case. And also the way you see exercise, it's not a form of punishment. Exercise should be helping us to make our bodies healthier and our minds healthier. It should not do the opposite, making us more sick physically and mentally. All right, I really hope this was helpful. One more time, the 3 things that you have to start doing today if you want to overcome your food anxiety are: stop putting a label on your diet, or stop putting yourself in a diet box. You don't have to call your diet anything. Number 2, start eating the fear food. Have one bite at a time. Add one food at a time and feel how the fear is releasing. And number 3, stop trying to undo the damage, because there was no damage. There's no need to undo anything. Eating is normal and food is never supposed to be earned. Okay. All right. This is it for me today. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment and I will talk to you again.